Well, hot jazz and romance on the streets of Chicago in the 1940s. That's the premise for the stage play Chez Joey, starring Silver Spring's own Myles Frost, a superstar who was also the star of MJ the Musical on Broadway. And this Friday, we are so pleased to welcome back Myles. Myles, thank you so much for being with us here live.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It is so neat to talk with you, and we know this production has just added some dates. That is exciting. First, just tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, no, Chez Joey is amazing. It's for me personally, it's an opportunity to create my own character, which I haven't had the opportunity to do, in theater yet. As you know, I've played Michael Jackson on Broadway, and he's very specific with his movements and his mannerisms, things like that. But with Joey, I get to have some fun. Like you said, takes place in Chicago in the 1940s, and it's really just a story about, love. It's a story about family, community, the importance of community. Joey Evans, who I play, his dream is to own his own nightclub. And he represents all the young black men back in that time who had this big dream but just didn't have the means. So when he finally feels like he had the means and has a way of going about it, it may not be the best way, but he's like, look, this is like to get to where I'm trying to go. You can't. It's a journey of loving to hate Joey. I would say.
I want to expand on that because Joey has been described as, and I quote, an irresistible, slick-talking, velvet-voiced nightclub performer. And you said, perfect, give me more of that. How do you bring that kind of character to life? And you said it's fun because you get to kind of create him.
Yeah, I would I would say that Joey is a lot like Myles Frost in a lot of ways.
Oh, no.
It wasn't too hard, or at least at Miles I used to be.
Oh.
So being able to bring that personal experience into the role, it feels good. It feels good. It feels like I'm growing as an actor, as a performer, getting to dive into some of the Nicholas brothers and the Berry brothers and Sammy Davis Jr. and it's just it's so cool. Cab Calloway, some of the pioneers of that time, and just tapping into what they provided for us that we use today, that Michael and Prince have used, James Brown has used, to this day. So being able to go directly to the source has been amazing, and obviously having leadership like Tony Goldwyn and Savion Glover, that's a dynamic duo within itself. So, and then my women beside me, Samantha Massell and Awa Salseka, they're just two powerhouses in their own right, and I'm so honored to do this with them.
Oh, I love that, acknowledging the wonderful team you have with you. Now, we do want to focus on you for a little bit more, though, Myles, because you made history with your Tony win, okay, for your portrayal of, as you mentioned, MJ, Michael Jackson. You were the youngest solo actor to win for Best Leading Actor in a Musical. Late congrats from us on that. But, you did say these styles are different, and MJ was so specific, but any little winks to him that you're bringing into this?
It's hard not to, because like I said, Michael, this was the time period that Michael really tapped into as well. He got a lot of his movements from and a lot of his ideas from. So, a move that may have been done by Sammy Davis Jr. Once Michael does it, it's a Michael Jackson move. So I have to be very mindful about what material I take from even some of the guys back in the 30s and the 40s, because Michael's already taken that and made it into his own thing. And being that I portrayed Michael, it just makes the challenge that much harder. So I'm having to look at all the things Michael didn't pull from and didn't do, and use that and perfect those things to really make Joey a standalone character that's not related to Michael in any way, and give the people who have seen me in MJ a new experience, and they're not looking at me like, yeah, but it still feels like MJ. Like, I want to see something new. Like, this feels so new, and I love that.
So what a fascinating, thank you for sharing a bit about your process as you bring these roles to life. And we know this performance, it's been new, energized. We know there's a lot of Tony talent in the production, but you're as local as they get, Myles, which is so cool. You grew up in the DMV, Bowie State, okay, got to represent there. We know the local audience just get really excited to see you on the stage and see you perform. Probably a lot of pride for them. What do you hope that they take away from your performance this time?
Well, they're getting a seasoned Myles. This is my first time actually performing at home. I went from college straight to Broadway, so I didn't really get an opportunity to perform for my hometown, if you will. So the fact that my DMV people are able to come and see me, before hopefully this goes to Broadway, that's just like they're getting a sneak peek. And because I've already had the MJ experiences, I'm coming into this as a seasoned Myles, like I said. So they're getting quality.
It feels right. You're saying like this feels good. And by the way, I love that college to Broadway. Like you need that on the car bumper sticker. I don't know. You got to have that on a license plate or something. That was awesome. Chez Joey, now extended March 22nd, arena stage, superstar, history-making Tony winner, Myles Frost with us live. Myles, such a pleasure to speak with you. Best of luck on these last few performances.
Thank you.